Good enough.
Iron Weaver. Yo. Iron Weaver. What you making tonight? Sharp and Forge. I might do something with that. Winky face. Iron Weaver. Easy wonder who left that there.
Is this one working? I don't know. It looks like it's working. If this one doesn't work, I'll switch to the other one. The chat box is not in the road. Technically not going. I got time before I start streaming.
Iron Weaver. I hear you.
Alright, cool. That works. I'll turn it back off now. So you don't nobody, the other people are going to be talking.
Iron Weaver. A little quiet, but you are there.
A little quiet. Really? That was not good. I don't know if that's any better. I'll turn this sucker up. Turn it to up. Any better? A little quiet, not quiet, a lot of quiet, I don't know.
Iron Weaver. Think it is just because of the music.
How about now? I should be over the music, for sure. Faux show. Faux show. But there's a way to mute this. Well, it also probably doesn't help that the damn thing's pointing at my butt.
Iron Weaver. Yeah, much better.
Alright, I like that. That's I heard much better. I got a lapel mic. Quick plug in. It's a better mic. It is not right here, though. Should be right here, but it is not.
Iron
Right.
Weaver.
Oh, you know what? It's my backpack.
Still good enough.
It's in my backpack. This will work for tonight. Then there'll be some guy, I can't hear you. Turn up the goddamn little baby. Oh, let's see. Oh, Well, no, I can't do that right now. I do want Alright, I want to push this, maybe. Push this up. Pushing it up. Pushing it up. Pushing it up. Pushing it up. Alright, that's pretty hot right now. I don't think I want to take it any hotter now. I'm gonna start. I got a limiter on this, so it shouldn't get too crunchy. It should get crunchy. It could get a little crunchy. A little crunch. Ain't ever hurt nobody though. 17 minutes. I got time to sit down and have a Gatorade. Because I'm definitely not waiting for the smoke to clear. Definitely not waiting for the smoke to clear.
Iron Weaver. Sounds solid. So you should be good. Iron Weaver. Back after a while. Joseph Johnson. Hello. Joseph Johnson. Railroad spikes are harder to find recently. Joseph Johnson. I have a lot of wire, any suggestions for it? Joseph Johnson. Sine wire. Joseph Johnson. I made many tent stakes with it but have many now. Joseph Johnson. I was mad at politicians so volunteered for their sign clean-up committee, to get their wires.
Alright. Should have found main can here in a second for 3 or 7. And this video is actually ending right now. Let's see.
Joseph Johnson. I have no sound, is it me? Tim Yoder. No audio. David Bates. It may just be me, but don't think there is sound.
How about now? Is there sound now? I don't, why didn't that? It works on the other one. It doesn't work on this one. What was that in? So yeah, you know, I don't think there will ever be a stream where I don't have some kind of problem. At least we're catching them early this time. So
David
I got
Bates.
this scrolling tongs.
There you go.
We got the scrolling tongs. I know where those are
Joseph
at this
Johnson.
point.
Yes.
Tim
Yoder.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who in the hell is? I can't. Sometimes Tim Yoder. Okay. I kept hearing Yoder, and I was like, I know Mark Yoder's not watching this.
Joseph Johnson. So Tractor Supply sells the coal.
Tractor Supply sells the coal. I don't get my coal from Tractor Supply. I don't recommend it personally. I mean, if you have no other option, sure. But they sell anthracite coal, and anthracite sucks for forging. It's just a major pain in the ass. Not that it can't be used. It does get plenty hot. In fact, I actually think it gets hotter. The problem is, if it doesn't have constant air, it will die really quick. So if you don't have an electric blower, I don't recommend it. Using a hand crank blower, you stop for more than 45 seconds or a minute, and it's going to die on you.
Joseph Johnson. It is hard to find coal here.
Yeah, I can believe that. What I would suggest, I mean, yeah, again, you can use it. To be honest, you can use charcoal, hard lump charcoal, not briquettes. Actual hard lump charcoal. You can make it yourself. You can buy it. I would recommend that over
Joseph
anthracite
Johnson.
personally.
Hair dryer is lower.
Yeah. So I was saying, I don't even know how much you guys didn't hear, but I was saying stuff. Trust me. I was going to do. Well, let me back up. I brought the other camera out, which would be 3 cameras, but I can't find the power supply. So it is out of the picture for this week. Maybe next time. I'm going to order another power supply. Then that's when I'll find the other one that I've lost, but then at least I'll have a spare. So that's where we're at with that. I had planned to do something a little different with the power hammer and or press tonight, but because I don't have that other camera, I'm not going to do it tonight. I'll wait until next time, which is fine. It gives me time to kind of play with some proportions and things that I want to kind of mess around with. So I'm not gonna bore you guys with any of that. I'll bore you with something else. Don't worry, but not that. And I get it. Not everybody has a power hammer. Kind of sucks to be you. Not everybody has a press. Kind of sucks to be you too. And not everybody has a power hammer and a press, and it sucks to be all of y'all. Just kidding. I'm fortunate that I have both. But I get that not everybody has those things, but I'm a selfish person, and I would like to see more of that kind of content. So I'm going to start doing some of it in hopes that it drums up a little bit more of the content business in the power hammer world. I don't really care about press stuff. And I got one, but I don't care. I'd rather see power hammer content. There's a guy on YouTube, Matthew Harris Studios.
Joseph Johnson. Yeah, no have.
Yeah, Matthew Harris Studios. He's got some good. Yeah, he's got some really good content. Honestly, if you're just strictly into well, not just strictly into forging, but that's what you're there for. He's got some cool architectural stuff on there. He's showing some power hammer stuff, so on and so forth. So he does some cool stuff. It's just cool. You know what's really funny is I was playing with these tongs just now, and I was thinking, who made these? I did. It's like these are. I mean, they're fine. They're fine, but there's some problems here. I was just like, who made these? Oh, I did. So this is cam, primary cam. We call this main cam. This is so you can see me. I guess it's kind of narcissistic to call it main cam, but that's what I called it. This is the anvil camera. So this is the view of the anvil. Well, obviously it's not. There's no anvil there right now. But I can show you guys since we're on that camera, and I need to put this up there anyways. This is, and I did a video on this earlier today. This is a keyed-in anvil. We call it that because it's got a hardy stem, and a key goes in here and locks it down to my striking anvil. If you're not aware of what a striking anvil is, it is essentially, let's take this down. Now let me find a place to put stuff. Hang on. I need this later. Don't want it to go far. All right. Okay. So this is the striking anvil. You can't see the whole thing. Back here, there is a 1-inch square hardy hole. We use this for forging tools like hammers, fullers, punches, drifts, all the big heavy tools. This is what we use in conjunction with a striker. When I go out to events, we're almost always going to do some kind of striking. So I always bring this striking anvil. In an effort to prevent myself from having to bring this along and an anvil, a traditional anvil per se, I use what is referred to as a keyed-in anvil. This is everything you see here essentially, the striking anvil, the keyed anvil. This is all stuff I learned from Brian Brazil. So the keyed-in anvil does just that. So you take this, drop it in, you run a key down in there, and it locks this in place. And what's nice about this is I can remove this when I don't need it, or put it on when I do need it. And it's not, it's not quote unquote in the way. The stand, I don't have to move the whole stand to get a striking anvil in place. So that's what this is here. I'm noticing the anvil cam angle right now. I don't mind it, but I work on this end the most, and I would prefer that this angle be coming down here. But I'm not going to change that now. Maybe next week I'll play with that. But for now, this is what we've got. Yeah. So let me show you. So Brian had showed me this, and his hardy stem, I believe, is actually integral or welded in. I don't think it's welded in, but I think it's a piece of the actual anvil itself, so it's not removable. This one, you can remove. So you just pull this 1/2-inch pin, right? Well, can you see it? Yeah. So you just pull this 1/2-inch pin, and that hardy stem comes out. This is something that Andrew Larson and Mark Ling sold me on. I think Andrew came up with this. I don't remember. I'm going to give Andrew credit this year. I gave Mark, I think, all the credit last year. So the idea is here, right? You got a hole that receives this, and you got a through hole that will allow you to pin this stem. So now it's essentially pinned. I've got this piece of, I think it's a conveyor belt or something. I don't know what the hell it is. Some kind of belt. And then with that as it is, I can drop it down onto my striking anvil. Now, what's the purpose of the conveyor belt? It just takes up inconsistencies within the face of the striking anvil and the bottom face of your actual anvil. The reason it's called a keyed-in anvil is because I have a key that I use. This one's got a little too much taper in it. Should be a little less taper in this, but this works fine. Use a little bit more robust material other than mild steel, but mild steel will work fine. You can see where this shine right here is. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that shine. I can see the shine. But right in here, this is where it's making contact. So I know I could, in theory, cut this off up here. Right? I don't need all this, but it makes it easier that it is accessible to the other end. And again, I'll show you this in a second. So I'm going to put this in. Wow, hit that on the first try. It's almost like I planned that. That's crazy. So I'm going to put that, I'm going to check it because it doesn't sound like it's really in. It's in. So I'm going to give you a little demo. I'm going to back this out a little bit. I'm going to put my leg up against it because I just tapped it in there. Right, you can hear all that. Now I'm going to tap it in. And I usually just give it a good hit once to set it, and then I just give it 3 hits and then 2 little hits. I don't know why I do that. So I have a driver. That's what I call it. It's just a piece of steel. It can be mild, doesn't matter. And I use this to drive that key out from the other side. What you don't want, typically, you don't want a lot of stick out on either end. This one's got a little bit of stick out on one end, but I'm working on this side, so it's not usually a big deal. But you definitely don't want it on your far side away from you, because people might walk by and catch themselves on it, so that could be bad. So just bear that in mind. Well, what's nice about this system is I can remove this anvil if, let's say, my buddy Paul were to come over right now and we decided to make a hammer. I could just drop this off, take it out, move it, we can get to work. And that doesn't take but a couple of seconds. So that's pretty handy in that regard. So that's the striking anvil. I had that written down, by the way, to go over that, even though I've already done a video on it today and posted it. It was a really short video. It was like 1 minute and 30 seconds. But I wanted to keep it short and sweet. The microphone is buried in my pocket. That's pretty epic. Hang on. Hang on. I should have brought the other microphone, but hey, you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. Let's see. So there is a couple of people watching.
Jesse Losey. I really like working on those narrow faces and need to make one for myself.
Yeah, Jesse, I'm right there with you on the narrow face. This is one of the reasons that this is my well, I go back and forth between this and my Holland anvil. The Holland anvil's got an okay, I mean, it's a really wide face in comparison. This is a 2-inch. I don't know, I think I want to say that the Holland is around 3 something. I really like that Holland anvil though. But this, I would say, is probably my primary anvil for a lot of things, especially if I'm on the road. If I'm on the road, this is most certainly my primary, because I don't take the Holland anvil with me. Why take 2 anvils? That's dumb. I don't see any need for that. It's just dumb. Narrow face is really nice for a lot of things. And then it's funny, if you need an even more narrow face, you can create yourself a hardy block. This one actually goes to my Henry Wright, but you can create yourself a little hardy block. You can harden these if you need a hardened one. Is this actually in frame? I can't tell. Let me. Yes. So I can take this little hardy block, drop it into that Pritchell hole, and now I've got an even more narrow face. You know, the only issue with this particular piece is it's going to rotate on you. Not a huge deal, especially for something this size. Not a big deal. But you can make them for your hardy as well, and then it won't rotate. There's that. I'm going to put this over here so that I do not lose it. And then you can do other tools as well. I need to find a rag so I can wipe my anvil down real quick. Here we go. saw one. Oh, it's in the, it's in my bolster block. So, yeah, I use this. Well, I got some dings right there. Ooh, ooh, poor anvil. It's a mild steel anvil, so you got to be careful with it, you know. And when you have randos, as I like to refer to them as, beating on things, you know, accidents happen. But yeah, you can put something like this in there. What's obviously not fitted for this anvil, but you know, you can make little swages to do stuff like that. We made a version of this much bigger, not realizing that was what we were doing when we started it, and learned a bit. Also learned to get requirements up front. Brian came to us after we did it, and he's like, you guys took that a little flat, didn't you? It only really needed to go down to about 1 1/8 inches. We took it down to like 5/8. It's like, well, that would have been handy information to have before we started that. My fault for not asking. I'm sure Brian had a good time watching us just wail away on that thing, not knowing, you know, swinging in the dark. So, I have around here somewhere. Here it is. A horse head made out of, what's this, 1/4x1? So I did this horse head out of 1/4x1 while we were in Louisiana. I don't know particular reason other than I just haven't, I never really made one from this material before, I don't think. Well, I have, it's been a while and completely forgot. So I have it, I don't hate it, so I thought, what am I gonna do with it now? You know, so I'm thinking I'll make a hook out of it. So, in order to make a hook out of it, we're gonna have to punch it. I want 2 holes in this, and I want them below where I have signed it. Well, you can kind of see that. So, we're gonna punch it, and then we're going to draw out a hook, and I think it's gonna be a shop hook to hang up like coats and whatnot, or even coveralls or something out here. So I want it a little longer so I can really swoop out the hook end of it. But meanwhile, I want my punch mark to be below this line and somewhere in there, right? So, but I want 2 in here.
Joseph Johnson. Mice horse.
So what I'll probably do
Joseph Johnson.
is
Nice.
give myself a faux line to work from, just for marking purposes, right? It's terrible marking, but what I can do, actually that's really terrible. What I can do is
Steve
scribe this out.
Happy.
What? Did you say happy? But what I can do is scribe this with an actual scribe here in a second, which I'm going to do. Actually, on this material, I don't really need to. You can kind of eyeball it. If you're doing 1/2 inch or 3/8, I would definitely scribe it so you're dead on in the middle. Because boy, is it easy to get off, and boy, is it obvious. Oh, my scribes are, I think they're actually attached to the striking anvils that we used over the weekend. Let me go look. Let me go look. That would be the first place I would expect to find them. Because I need to just make scribes for these. There's no scribe there. There's no scribe there. Wow. Somebody took the scribes out and put them in my box, I guess. There's things that don't typically happen. And I've made scribes, but you can just use a piece of carbide or a tungsten, for MIG welding.
Jesse
those work.
Looked like a blast at John's place this weekend.
But yeah, here we go. You can scribe these anytime you can mark something out before you get it hot is always going to be, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not necessary all the time, no. Looked like a blast at John's place this weekend. It was definitely a blast. I don't know if you've been down there before, but if you have not, highly recommend. Maybe the next time we do that, we plan it a little bit better. And I gotta say, I still like this scribe. That was the one I made. Oh, you got blur. The one I made a while back. I don't know what you'd call it though. I don't know this shape. It's not a pyramid. It's kind of, but it's the same on both sides. It's like a top, like a.
Jesse Losey. ID love to go.
But yeah, so there's my scribe. I'll keep that out. I'm gonna start getting this. The fire's already been going, but I need to bring the heat up. So let me throw a little bit of Coke up here. Get that going. We'll get this fire raging, and then we'll poke some holes in that piece. I just did something I didn't want to do. I hope that didn't mess things up. There we go. Control Z for the win. This is still showing the wrong
Joseph
thing.
Johnson. Was it a bolt?
Was it, what? Hang on. Was it a bolt? Oh, the scribe. No, it was not. It was forged from a piece of, I think, 1/2-inch coil spring, or 5/8 sucker rod, maybe 5/8 sucker or coil spring, I think. Somewhere in there. It was forged from a round bar. I don't typically harden scribes, so this thing is showing me, this is really weird. I'm gonna hit the refresh button on this because it's showing me the wrong screen right now, and it's got me a little, okay, it just did not update. 621. So yeah, it was not a bolt, it was just a piece of round, and I can show you later how I would start something like that. I need to find a punch for this. I don't need a giant hole. But I do need a hole. So let me come over here. See if I can find a punch. Now I can already tell you, the damn thing is going to be all the way in the bottom. Because, why wouldn't it be? Here we go. This will work. This will work. Not ideal, but it will work. Okay. I got my punch. I'll put it down and let you guys see it. Take a look at it. Well, I'll put it on the big shelf so you can take a look at it as soon as I pick it up. All right. I don't know how well that's visible, but there it is. And if you look, it's not a flat. It's got a bit of a bevel to it. Get out of here. So I'm gonna get this hot, and then we're gonna punch it. Okay, actually, executive decision time. So here's the thing, right? I can get this hot, and I can punch this, but it's gonna get a lot more of this hot than I really care to see it get hot. There's no reason for anything from here to get hot. However, I have an induction forge. So, let me go get it hot over there. I'll be right back. I'll take you with me, of course, so you can hear the beautiful sound of the beeps that Roy Adams loves so much. But yeah, there's I'll put it in the fire after this because this side will get a hot hot much quicker. But I don't really want to heat up the other end that's got the detail in it for fear I might, it might get too hot and it's going to start, every time it heats up and scales, it's going to lose some detail. And for what I'm doing, I don't need it crazy hot. I just need it hot. So let's come back over here, walk across the shop and lose all of our heat, which is fine because I'm just marking right now. I wish it was a little longer. So we're going to come over here. That does not quite look right. There we go. We got a mark. Got another mark. Well, same mark, just a little deeper. And then I'm going to do the same thing. How about here? I think. How about there? Kind of like a center punch in a lot of ways, but it's not a center punch. Whoa. If you hit it square, Rob. All right. Now I'll get this hot in the coal or the coke.
Greg Brenner.
And the
Metal.
coke. Get it hot in the coke. Let's see if I can tilt the face up a little bit so it's not heating up when I don't need it to heat up. Greg Brenner, what's up, man? So, if I were closer and the cameras were set up over there, I would just do this in the induction forge because, to be honest, it'd probably be done by now. Or close. But I didn't think to do it. I apologize. I'm terrible at this planning thing. As people who did not get to attend the John Perilou Hammer-In, we were planning. Okay, so let me get into that detail real quick. Paul and I had been planning to go down to the Bangin' on the Bayou, which is, I believe, the Llama Conference, and we had planned to kind of go down there and check it out. And then I messaged John and asked if it would be okay if we stayed there, probably for a day or two, maybe, yeah, about a day, I think is what I was asking originally. And then we were going to go over
Jeff
to
Killian.
the conference.
Evening, everyone.
But that didn't really pan out. We ended up bringing Corbin with us, which was fine. I think we kept asking him if he was going to go. We brought our young buddy, Corbin, 17-year-old, down with us, and we got to John's, and there we stayed. We never went to the conference. We definitely considered it. We just never went. I mean, to be honest, it was rainy that weekend, that day in particular, and a bunch of our friends showed up, so we just hung out at John Perilou's. Short notice, we did the thing. Around here, there we go. So, yeah. We weren't trying to ditch anybody on purpose. Maybe a couple of you, but we weren't trying to ditch anybody on purpose. So, don't get your diapers in a wad. That's way too close. Where is that hole? Okay. I don't like using this style of punch for thin stock, but it works. It'll work. It'll put a hole in it. I'll get that hot again. It'll put a hole in it. Meanwhile, I has Gatorade somewhere. Ah. But yeah, while we're down at John's, I made a, sorry, distraction. I just found a tripod that I'd been looking for. While we were down at John's, we made, a couple of hammers, I think. We made a bottom tool. We made tongs. We had a good old time. We had a grand old time. This one's really not that hot. Yeah, we're gonna get back to you. Take advantage of the heat we have. Okay, I felt that hit. Okay. You can't see what I'm doing. You can't see what I'm doing. This bar's getting a little toasty. Okay, I think my spot is right about there. And if not, it is now. How about that? So here's what I don't like about this style of punch for this material. Ooh, that got warm. It's just a little big for this, and I would rather use a slot punch. Yeah. Okay. So I'd rather use a slot punch because they're a little easier to get out, especially if you're off a little bit, which it looks like I am on this one a little bit. But it doesn't matter. It'll hold the thing, you know? It'll hold the thing. A screw or a lag bolt will go through it. It will be on my wall here in the shop, unless I'm like blown away by how great it comes out. Highly unlikely. But it's just gonna be a shop hanger, you know, things for me to hang things here while I'm in the shop. That's the only real major purpose. I've got a pair of these interesting tongs Bill Corey made. Where are they at? Here they are. And they actually might be pretty handy for this particular material. Oh man, look at that. Oh baby. Oh baby. Let me find hey, I got a tong clip right here. I'm gonna make an attempt to finish driving this side out. Okay, that right there hit. So I want this here. Wait! Come on! Back up there. You get back up there. So my little biscuit did not quite come all the way out. Not a big deal. And I'll show you to you. I'm gonna switch to the other camera right. Well, I'm gonna have to move it, but I won't drop it. I promise. So my little biscuit didn't come out. I had to kind of knock it off with the hammer. So that means I was just a little bit off. But we have one hole. It should not have taken that long, but I wasn't as prepared as I could have been. So you'll see there's a little bit of rag in there. I don't care about that. Again, it's gonna accept like a 1/4 inch lag bolt or whatever, maybe a little bit bigger than that. But it's just gonna hold the thing. You could actually get away with just one of these. Sometimes that can be preferable. Because if you use two, clearly you want to level it a little bit, right? You want to make it square, which isn't hard. You just hold a little level up to it. But yeah, if you just put one, Gravity will help it find square and level, whatever, plumb. I guess it would it be plumb in that instance? I'm thinking it would be plumb. One of those words. It'll be one of those words. So we'll do the same thing down below, knock another hole in there, and then I can move on to other things. I'm not going to drift those holes unless I need to, and I'll do that off camera if I have to do that. And then once I get this done, I'm gonna go find my gloves. All right, so there's, so on this side or is this side? This side. All right, that's down. I can see my spot. There we go. Ooh, this is toasty. All right, that is down. I'm gonna come over here. So that's the only problem with these tongs is they're a little wide
Derek
for my
Welton.
narrow.
Hey guys. Hey, I missed y'all.
All right. Oh yeah, that one's a little off, but I think I can get it. I was a lot off, but that's okay. Like I said, not a big deal. It is a thing, right? I mean, it's just a thing. Just a doodad. So what I'm gonna do is hammer that back down. And then I think I'm just gonna hit it from this side. Oh, sounds like the puppers are out for their nightly constitutional breaks or whatever dogs that are probably all sitting on the porch going, what is he beating on in there? And the other one's probably saying, well, at least it's not me, so I don't care what he's beating on. I don't beat my dogs, by the way. Okay. All right, so got a hole on both sides. This one's got a little bit more rag on the other side. Not a big deal. Like I said, there's going to be a bolt in there, 2 bolts in there. If you really wanted to get crazy, and I was going to, but I don't want to, you would slot punch this and then open it up. Any sides will swell out a lot more than they currently have. But again, it's a shop hook. Derek Welton. Hey, what's up, man? So yeah, this is the horse head. Now what I'm going to do is isolate a bit of material towards the end for what will become the pad of the hook, right? So that will happen because I want this to be relatively big to be able to hang like a big coat and like insulated bibs on. So this is going to be a bit bigger than your average bear. But what I don't want is I don't want the hook to come up here, right? Because then I can't get to this. So I think if you want, actually, let me put this down so it doesn't fall down. What I could do, I might just do it, is, yeah, there we go. I've got a jig. I don't know how big this is. 6-ish inches or so, right? So So what I could do is say, okay, that's the jig I'm going to use to bend this with. And if I wanted to make this, it's 5.5. So if I wanted to make this, if I wanted to make a circle out of that per se, or for instance, let me switch to the main camera. If I wanted to do that, just break up my handy dandy calculator. What did I say that was? 5.5? So in order to get all the way around that, and you can verify this, by the way. What the hell did I do with that tape measure? Oh. You can verify this, right? You can verify this. Get this out of the way. Come over here. Doing this with this type of tape measure isn't the greatest, but it works. So that's what, 18 inches of material to get all the way around. I don't think I have 18 inches in this. I don't need to get all the way around. I say that's 5.5. It is 5. Well, it's a little over 5.5. It's like 5 9/16. Somewhere. It doesn't matter. But let's say, hey, I do want about that much. So I'm going to need at least 11.5. Do I have 11.5? Where are we at? We'll stay off of that. So we have 11.5. I don't need all of that to get the hook, by the way, because so this is going to get drawn down, right? I'm gonna isolate this piece up here, maybe an inch, 1.5 inches, maybe just an inch. I'm thinking just an inch, and then I'm going to neck it down and I'm going to taper into that a little bit, but I'm going to leave this here and I'm going to spread that to make a big landing pad type thing, so I can hang a hoodie, a coat with a hood, a coat. I can hang a hat, whatever. But yeah, this is whatever. It's not. There's no science here. I'm just saying. Do I have enough to pull off what I think I want to pull off? Which I do. I might even use that jig for the hook. I don't know. I might free ball that bad boy. We'll see. We'll see. I ain't screwed. I'm gonna get this thing hot. I'm gonna straighten it out a little bit. I wanna. Oh, you know what I forgot to do today? Forgot to fill up my quench tank. That'll be fun. I don't need a lot of heat on this to straighten it. I'm trying to remember to come out to the anvil camera every time I come to the anvil when it makes sense. So I'm just going to straighten that up. I don't want to hit up here. That's where my detail is. And then I'll just kind of look down it and see if it's relatively straight. And it mostly is. Right. Oh, yeah. So now, I need to quench this off. Is there more water in the other one? Oh, there's way more water. What am I doing? Way more water in this one. So one of the nice things about these tongs, though, I will say, is they will grab this pretty well, actually. If I can get them to let go. Right. Yeah, look at that. So now I can come down here and isolate that. Ooh, I meant to take care of that. Let me come over here and do some grinding work real quick. Or actually, let me cut it and then I'll grind it. I want to cut this straighter than what it currently is. And then I'll take it to the grinder real quick. Well, you know what? Might be able to make that work. Let's see what we get. Now, the first thing I need to do, though, it's not straight. I don't want it diving into the fire like that. So let me straighten it up a little bit.
Derek's stuff. Do you ever work with brought iron?
Do I ever work with, wrought iron? Yeah. Actually, I have a piece on the forge right now. It's not in the fire, but I have a piece up here. This is a piece of wrought iron right here. No, I might do something with that. We'll see. Okay. Gotta figure out. I think this was cut like this.
Derek's stuff. Where is your shop?
Knife guys, they act like that's hard. Where's my shop? I'm in Indiana, in a town called Albany, which is just northeast of Indianapolis. Or almost straight east of a place called Muncie, Indiana, where the Harvard of the Midwest is located, Ball State. All right. Also did not think to bring in my guillotine tool. So we're going to do this the old-fashioned way with the edge of the anvil. Not that it can't be done. It can be. I will say that the guillotine tool makes this a lot easier. I am not going to fib you. So I'm going to just take this.
Stuff. We're north of Albany, New York.
So I'm going to take this right here. Right? Give myself 2 hits. I'm going to try to keep it and roll it over. And then go back. And the same thing. Now as I work this, I'm going to try to bring this down to a bit more of a radius. And equally. I want the shoulders to be about the same depth, right? There's that. They're even enough for this particular wackadoo project. North of Albany, New York. Was that like Canada? Like I know of Albany, New York, but I don't know where Albany, New York is. Is Albany the capital? Here.
Derek's stuff. Yes.
So now, what I want to do is taper this into this. We don't need a lot of that. When I was a kid, I remember that being a thing where you had to like learn the capital of all the states. I remember thinking, that's dumb. I don't live in those states, so I don't care what their capital is. But we learned them. I don't remember it all anymore, but back in the day. I don't necessarily think they teach that anymore. Watch these videos of kids and they're like geographically challenged. So, same thing. I'm just going to sneak up using a radius here. And just slowly walk my way up to that shoulder. Doesn't have to be slow. And I'm just going to check this back. And I don't really want a lot of taper on this, but I want some. And I want it straighter and flatter than that. There we go. But I don't necessarily want a lot of taper there. I don't want to take that too thin. So what I'll do, instead of using the round face, is I'll switch to the flat face and shoot for more like a 3/4 quarter blow, right? Instead of half a face blow. I'll try to keep the hammer mostly on the anvil, about 1/4 of it off. And that will still take it down, but it won't be nearly as aggressive, which is what I am shooting for right now. If I can get these tongs on here, that'd be great. That would be fantastic. Come in with my poker. Bring in some excuse me, pardon me, and then got a nice heat there. And then I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to back up a little bit to make that blend in a little bit better. Oh, I hit it. I ain't supposed to do that. Not a big deal though. I'm just going to reset my shoulder. And I'm tilting my hammer here. Kind of like a cross beam, I guess. I'm not holding my tongs very tight. So if I'm not completely flat, it'll kind of find flat on its own. It don't need me. So I'm just going to come in here and start cleaning up. Okay. I'm just planishing at this point. Got a twist in here. No big deal. Just slowly work it back out. Very nice. So that's where we're at. I'll take another heat to clean it up. And then I want to focus on that end, that pad end. And the reason I'm doing what I'm doing now is once I get that taper cleaned up and done, I don't need to mess with that area for the most part very much. The only really heat that I need to add to it later is enough heat to bend it, and that's not a lot. So, you know, this is something I'm not great at. There's a lot of things I'm not great at. But this is something, I'm not going to switch cameras again, by the way. I'm just going to leave it here. But this is something I think Brian Brazil is really good at, is finishing an area and moving.
Stuff.
You know.
How long did you study with Brian Braziel?
On and off, I don't know. I mean, I've known him for
how long?
6 years now. But off and on, I would say that it's study so much as just worked with. I've taken classes with him. I've studied him as he teaches classes, things like that. But I don't know. I've been around him for about 5 years, 6 years, somewhere in there. But as I was saying, this is something I think Brian is really, really good at, and a lot of people, I don't necessarily think, really can appreciate what he's up to with some of this stuff. You know, he'll work on a little section, and then he moves away from it. He moves on. He doesn't go back to that. He's done. He's done there. And that's how he's able to get such clean forgings. You know, he doesn't keep heating an area up over and over and over again, especially when that's technically when he's done with it. You know, and that's where a lot of guys, I think, kind of mess up, me included. You know, we struggle with that doing hammers. They'll get a little rough. And Brian told us just this weekend, he was like, you know what you got to do is you got to start backing off of your heat when you start getting closer to being done. Bring it out a little cooler each time, you know, and it's the truth. So there's that, right? So, I know. That's, I'm pointing it to the camera, but it's not on that camera. I'll switch to it now. But this section from here to here, that's done. Don't need to mess with it no more. Done. This up here, maybe. But this down here still has a lot of work to do. Well, a lot, but it's got work to do. I got work to do on this spot. How about that? And again, I'll switch to this for now. And then try not to burn this up. It's getting areas hot that, hey, get off me. It's getting areas hot that I'm not actually working on. But yeah, Brian's really good at that, I've noticed, you know. I mean, that's just years of experience. You know, I'm sure it's possible that he knew all those things at birth, but I doubt it. But it's possible. I don't want to rule it out. You know, crazier things have happened. So I've kind of put myself in a pickle here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, and I'm trying to match this up. And I want these about the same. And what I'm doing, I'm feeling for it, and then trying to drop this in there. Probably not the greatest way to explain that, but it's what I'm doing. Now, if you look, I'm leaving this fat intentionally. I will draw this down a little bit more later. Right now, this area is fatter than this area, and I'm going to leave it that way for now, because I'm going to start working on this, and I want the support. So you can see where the shoulders aren't quite the same. So I'm going to try to fix that. I'm going to try to fix that. And I'm going to try to have a little bit of my smoke, because I'm an addict, cigar addict. First step to recovery is admitting it. Right? Isn't that what I've heard? It's this one that could come up here. So I'm going to do it ain't perfect, but it looks a lot better. we're going to switch to this. We're going to start doing stuff. And you can be...
Dustin Baker. How was the trip?
Trip was great, Dustin. You could be as fast as you want with this. A guillotine tool makes this really easy because, you know, they're both in line, so it'll just kind of do the thing. But yeah, you can do it on the edge. And the more practice that you spend doing it on the edge, the quicker you become at it, and ultimately the quicker it'll be, and you won't need a guillotine tool for it. But when you need that precision, those guillotine tools are hard to beat, and I would never tell you to not use one.
Derek's stuff. Ever work with Asbury?
Yes, not much, but very little. He's demonstrated for the IBA when I first started. He has demonstrated over at SOFA, and then I caught his demonstrations over at Johnstown. And at SOFA, he used, hey guys, do you know who anvil Mark Asbury used when we were at Quad State? That's right, this guy's. Yes, he used my anvil while we were at SOFA. I'm going to spread this material out a little bit, but I'm going to use my cross peen to do that. Yeah, I could use my rounding hammer. Yes, I could. But I'm not going to. That's all there is to that. Don't need to, I could take that a lot thinner. Maybe that's what we do. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I wouldn't say I've worked with Mark, but I've worked with Mark. He's used my anvil. That's got to mean something, right? I built the anvil stand that he used in Johnstown. It was mimicked after mine at home, here at home, because he liked it so much, or at least he said he did. I hope he liked it because that's what he used in Johnstown. And Greg Hagan supplied the anvil. He sent the anvil to me, and then I built the stand and took it to him in Johnstown. So here we go. Keep pulling this out a little bit thinner. Okay, I'm on the wrong side for this, but I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. But I've still got plenty of material for this, so I'm not too worried about it. Creating that little rib there, a ridge, a high point. It's just adding a little extra mass leading into what will become the pad, or if you were making a leaf, the leaf, or a spoon. You would do something similar to that on a spoon. You don't have to, but it adds just enough, just a little extra mass there, and really kind of toughens it up. But since I am on the wrong side for that, I'm going to come over here, and then I will start that over here. You know, it's a lot easier when you can see what you're doing to get it started. You can use the edge of the anvil for this. You can see where that little, it's this just extra mass in there. And you'll see, like, when I roll this up, I mean, you might not even see that thing, to be honest. Those are little things that I just like to play with stuff like that. But no, I've not spent quality time with Mark. His style of forging really is kind of, there's some things that are very similar, the way he works, and then there's some things that where it's like, yeah, I'd never do it that way. Not that it's wrong, it's just not how I was taught how to do something. You know, and I understand his approach to it. I get it. You know, it's an approach that needs to be something a little more. Well, one, I would say there's a lot of folks out there that think this was the way they did it. Well, that's possible. That's entirely possible. But how do you know that? Can you honestly surmise that by looking at a drawing or a painting from 1322? Can you? Really? Did you know that anvils with horns in the 1200s was actually kind of rare? So now what are you going to do, Mr. Draw Down on the Horn? So I am kind of done with that for the moment because I screwed up where I screwed up. It's kind of pulling out a little more than I would care for it to. So I'm going to push this back in. But it's not bad. Don't get me wrong, horns are useful. I just don't think they're the be-all, end-all. Well, I know they're not. For certain processes. But I have a theory as to why the horn became preferred over the edge. And I think that's just from ease of use. It became ease of use. I think it's where it started. And then I think as the time went on, anvils just were chewed up. So then it's like they had to have an alternative. There are times when using the horn is advantageous. But for general forging processes, I would say the edge is superior. Well, I know it's superior. It's more efficient. But it's a more difficult process to learn starting out. It's not something you just wail on and expect it to do the thing. Whereas the horn, you can kind of wail on it and it'll do the thing. Kind of, not entirely. All right, flatten that bag out. Back over here. It's kind of ugly how this one is folded out more than this one, but like I said, I'm not too worried about that. I'm gonna get this hot again and just kind of clean it up generally. And then from there, I'll
Derek
roll it up.
Stuff. Are there 10 people watching?
I don't know. I do not know. Let me raise that up a little bit. 14 according to this thing. But that's across multiple platforms. That's Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And I believe last time there were more people watching on YouTube than any other. I don't want these sharp edges or corners or whatever. So we're going to take it. We're adding facets. People pay extra for these facets.
Iron Weaver shows 10 on YT.
Shows 10 on YouTube. All right. Then 10 on YouTube, and then I would imagine 3 on the Facebooks, maybe 4. I don't know. YouTube typically has the most viewers, though. I can click this thing. We got 10 on YouTube, 3 on Facebook, and 1 on Twitch. And usually the Twitch is actually the stream bot. So, which is fine. I think I'm debating on the whole Twitch thing. I don't know where I stand on that yet. I'm wanting this to be a little straighter than it is. All right, that poor hammer is going to take all the falls today. I'm going to get that in the far. Where's my stump at? So you'd think that using a big fancy Holland anvil with a wide face would prevent me from dropping my hammer like that all the time. But you would be wrong. You would be wrong. In fact, it falls off more because of the goddamn rebound. So I'm going to use my rounding hammer here, and I'm going to try to pull this spot right here out
Derek
over more.
Stuffs. Who made that anvil?
All right, that already looks better. Already looks better. Who made that anvil? I made this anvil. Well, I mean, technically speaking, me, Paul Kennedy, Jot Wilford, Zach Rapatoni made this anvil. We did this with a striking one night a couple of years ago. And then once it was finished forged, once we had forged it where we needed it, Paul and I slit, punched, and drifted this to a 1-inch Hardy. And then I finished the fabrication off in there. Right, there's that. So it's going to come around and up and back down. So I want this to be this way when I swage it out a little bit. Swage it out. I'm going to check my stump. You guys aren't going to get to see any of this. Just know that I'm doing it. Get my stump over here. And then somewhere around here, I have a ball peen hammer that I use for this kind of stuff. This one's not nearly as big as I'd like it to be, but it might be the one I end up using because that's what I see. I'm going to put this up out of the fire for a second until I find that ball peen hammer. But I am going to swage the ever-living mofo out of this thing. I mean, I know what I can do. I'll just use a ball fuller. Oh, no, I found it. I found it. Found it. Oh, it's on the big shelf. It worked on the big shelf. I'll show you guys what I'm going to do. I'm just using a stump as a swage. It's already got like the depression in it that I want to use. I use it for leaves and things all the time. So I'm just going to get this nice and toasty. And I'm going to come over here and wail on it. You can hear what I'm doing. And then I usually start on a flat somewhere, and then when I'm closer, I got a more shallow depression, and then I've got a deeper one that I go to. If I can hit it, there we go. And that will produce that. Got a little twisted on me, but I can fix that.
Derek's stuff. Where'd you go?
Yeah, I had to go off screen. I'm not hauling that stump over here. It's too big. But my stump, I keep it, well, not keep it, but it's on the other side of my vise right now. So I'm just going to get this hot and straighten it back out a little bit. A lot easier to deal with straighter. So you can see where it's still ain't perfect. But I can go back and hit it with the doodad again a couple times and straighten it back up a little bit. Another thing you can do with this, and I actually have a ball bearing that I might be able to do that with. So there's a little, I remember who I learned this trick from. Depending on the depth of the hole or the depression that you've created in the piece, what you can do is drop a ball bearing in there, put it in the vise, clamp it in the vise, and then that will allow you to twist this around. So let's see how well that works. You won't be able to see that either because the vise is not in frame, but it's a handy little trick for to prevent you from deforming the work you just did. So I got it twisted, and now I'll just untwist it a little bit. There we go. I mean, it's not perfect, but that helps keep you from deforming this. Handy little trick.
Derek's stuff. It's handy if we can see.
Well, Derek, I'll tell you what. You send me a couple more cameras, brother, and I'll set them up so you can see. Until then, you get what you get, bro. I got 2 cameras. That's what I got. You tell me somebody else doing this right now that's even come close, and I'll copy them. Because generally, every stream I've ever seen of blacksmithing, this is all you get. This is what you get. I don't know too many people that give you multiple cameras, unless your name's Alex Steele. Like I said, I'm open to donations. Help a brother out. I'll hire some staff. You'll get all the action shots, baby. All of them.
Stuff. Roy.
Roy, yeah, well, so Roy is, how many subscribers is Roy at this point? 1 million or so? A couple 100,000? I'm at 120. I remember watching Roy's old videos, and let me tell you, let me recreate one for you. This is what you got. And then usually a voiceover. But I'll be honest, I find those old videos to be the more educational. I won't say entertaining, but I find his older videos to be more more educational. I guess they can be entertaining, but I just feel like he goes into more detail on forging stuff on the old videos versus what he does now. I get it, he's trying to a degree, he's trying to make the algorithm happy. I am not trying to do any of that. Eventually I have 3 cameras. I can run up to 4. Eventually I'll have my 3rd camera running again. And then I would like to get a 4th. But right now, I could do more than 4. That's all I'm set up to do right now. But at some point in time, it would be nice. I'm going to come over here. No, I'm not. I'm going to come over here and grab my ball peen. and we'll see. See, I can still, this is a little, it's squared up a little bit on me.
So do you like his stuff?
This is squared up a little bit, because this is where I hit it, trying to straighten it. So do you like his stuff? Like his video content? Roy's or his forging? I'll make it easy. Yes. I've actually taken classes with Roy. I like Roy a lot. He's one of my favorite people. We missed him at Quad State last year. He's usually there. I'm hoping he makes it this year, because that's really about the only time I get to see him. And I'm hoping that he can make it. He's 6 hours for me, I think, maybe 8. I don't remember. I've looked it up before with the intent of going up there. Yeah, I don't know. No, but as far as forging and stuff goes, yeah, I like Roy's content. I like his actual work. I like both. He's a great instructor. In fact, that's probably the one thing I would praise Roy on the most. He might not agree, I don't know. But I honestly feel that Roy is a better teacher than he is a blacksmith, teaching blacksmithing stuff. And I know he'll hate that, but I really do. I think he's very personable. He does well to explain things. I just think he does a really good job. All right, so this is kind of kinked. I want to fix that. That I'm not too worried about, though. A ball stake, which I don't actually own, could do that. Those are things I want to make at some point, though. Been watching some videos on repoussé work, and I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. Dude, I want to do that. So I'm going to try to not bend it this time. Much better. Come over here. But yeah, dude, I wish I could take you everywhere in this shop, but that's not feasible. You just have to kind of trust that it's happening. The wood stump thing, there's no mystery there. I don't know if you know this or not. Have you ever used one? There's no mystery to a wood stump. You just put a piece of hot steel on it and start whacking on it. If you want it to dish out, just keep whacking it in the same spot. Keep hitting in the same spot. It will burn that out and dig it out and create that depression in there for you. And the more you use it, the deeper it gets. I mean, I guess if you really needed like a big bowl shape, you could route it out a little bit first, but you really don't need to.
Derek's stuff. How often do you cut your beard?
I don't. It's usually trimmed by fire. It is usually trimmed by fire. Same with my hair. My hair is trimmed by fire. That in old age. My hair used to be all the way down to my waist.
Christ-centered iron works. Who say my name?
Nobody said flux, flux, flux.
Christ-centered iron works. LOL.
But yeah, we were just talking about you, Roy. And I was saying, I personally feel like you're a better teacher than a blacksmith, and that says a lot because I think you're a great blacksmith too. I don't think you give yourself enough credit when it comes to that. I know a lot of amazing blacksmiths that are terrible teachers. It's not for everybody. Teaching. It's not something everybody can do well. It's hard to communicate
Derek's
sometimes.
Stuff.
Those
I love Roy.
Nuances. But Derek's stuff was a little annoyed that I don't have a camera at every angle in here, and I told him, hey, pony up some cash, brother, and I'll hook it up.
My ears were burning.
I will hook it up. All right. So I'm not going to mess with this too much more. It's probably got too much bend in it for what I'm going to do. Maybe not enough. I could bend it out a little bit more. But this I find is easier to play with once you've got your main bend in it.
Christ-centered iron works. Thank you for the compliments.
Get that out of the way. Yeah, you missed a good time, Roy. We went down to Louisiana, hung out with Ed and Brian for a little bit, John Perilou, Paul and I, and Mr. Corbin, young Corbin. We took him down there. We corrupted him by making him eat crayfish, crawdaddies, mud bugs, whatever you call them. So, yeah, we had a good time. It was fun.
Derek stuff. Not annoyed, just thought you'd pan out. You're good brother.
It is, yeah, I can't even, honestly, Derek, where these cameras are set up, there's no way I could pan out and show you anything, because everything is back that way. And cameras are, like, the anvil camera is literally like 18 inches away from the anvil, I think. Let's see. It is, oh, I'm sorry. It is 14 inches from the back heel of the anvil to the lens. And I'd get it closer, but it really annoys me when you can easily and very clearly see the camera. See, it's just, I mean, it's like right here. And I don't know why it annoys me, but it annoys me to see the camera in the frame.
Overhead works too.
Not in this shop. Overhead would not work in this shop.
Christ-centered iron works.
This is a functional shop.
Beep, beep, beep.
Oh, no beep. Well, I used it once tonight. I did use it once tonight. In your honor. In your honor, Roy, I used it once tonight. I want to set up my little bending jig on my vise that you can't see. Yeah, overhead cameras would not, I don't want to say they would work, but it would require a lot of work to make that work. Because there's nowhere to really mount a camera up there. No good way, anyhow. I'd have to rig something up, a system up. That's the other thing. If it's up there, I wouldn't want to take it down all the time. That would add an hour to my setup time every time I do this, and there's no way. I mean, it already takes about an hour to get set up, so doing that would add an extra hour. Or I'd have to leave it set up, and that won't happen.
Have you ever done a wheelie?
What? Have I ever done a wheelie? Like on a bicycle? Yeah? That's a strange question. But yeah, the overhead thing honestly would be really cool, and I might try to do at least one coming straight down on top of the anvil. That could be cool. Another option for one overhead would be something that follows, like you could set tracking so it would follow me. I mean, I guess that could be an option, but it's got to be something I can easily remove.
Howdy.
It's got to be something I can easily remove, otherwise it won't work in here. This is not a climate controlled shop. It can. Not a climate controlled shop, so that's not something I would want to. I wouldn't want to leave a $500 camera, suspended in this shop, especially when we're not filming stuff and we're doing other work. Sometimes things go flying.
Ethan Rose. How you gonna mention everyone but me? Derek's stuff.
I thought it was a secret, Ethan. Actually, I forgot. My bad, dude. Yeah, Ethan was down there too. He was a surprise visitor. I wasn't expecting him. And a welcome surprise even. And We did an upset flower, and Ethan struck on that, and I was a little annoyed because the last time he struck for me, I didn't think he knew how to hit. And then he was bringing the thunder in this, and I was like, well, hey, Paul's done that before too, where Paul was all coming down with Thor's might, somebody else, and then we go to, and I'm like, what the hell was that? I think that should be bent enough for what I want to do. I'm going to use my scrolling tongs that I finally found to hold this in place as I bend this around. About here, I think. And again, this is just a hook for here in the shop. So I'm not overly worried about it. So here's the problem, right? As wide as this is fine, but getting into this hole here can be problematic.
Ethan Rose shows you. LOL.
Nope, got a nice kink right there I need to fix. But nothing a little heat can't fix. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I've got some, excuse me, I got some hooks in the shop. I got 1, 2, 3. Then I've got some store-bought ones because I found them in an auction.
Dude, have you ever done a wheelie?
So the ones that I have that were store-bought, I'd like to replace with regular hooks. Plus, those don't hold like my overalls or big coats very well. So I'm hoping that this will be slightly better at that. I hear the wheelie question again. I thought I answered, unless you were asking somebody else. But yes, I have done a wheelie. Dude, have you ever done a wheelie? I don't understand the context of the question, but yes. I used to ride BMX when I was a child and did many a trick, wheelies included. This is, I'll put you back a little bit, there we go.
Derek's stuff. But have you done a wheelie on a bicycle?
Sounds like a trick question now. Yes, bicycles, yes. BMX, bicycles.
Derek's stuff. How about a 10-speed?
Don't know about a 10-speed. Probably, but I can't remember. Like I said, I used to ride BMX. I used to race for GT when I was a kid. Did freestyle for a long time too. Mostly because I couldn't skate. So this is why I did BMX and freestyle stuff. I couldn't skateboard to save my life. Like I could drop in very terribly, but I could kind of survive dropping in on a board. But like going down to the other side and then coming back, yeah, I never made it that far. And then regular freestyle stuff on a skateboard I was not great at.
Derek's stuff. Were you fast?
Was I fast? On a bike? Yeah, I guess. I mean, I wasn't the fastest. I didn't win a lot. I won a few races, but not a lot. I mean, otherwise, I'd be tooting my horn a little bit more. I was better than most people in my area, but once we got out of that, yeah, no, there were plenty of much better riders than me. Sorry, I'm probably just giving you a good show of the butt, but you know how it is.
Derek's stuff. So you did a wheelie?
I did a wheelie. I don't like the way that looks. I was getting... I thought we established that already. Yes, I have done wheelies on bicycles. I do not know about 10 speeds. Probably 10 speeds. But I can't say for sure. I wasn't into the 10 speed thing. And when mountain bikes were becoming a thing, I thought they just looked weird. But now they look fun. But when I first saw them, I thought, oh, those look weird.
Paul A. Kennedy. Camera isn't low enough for a butt shot.
Damn. I'll work on that next week.
Trail Dust 55. It seems I tuned in for a butt. Ken Foster. How big of a hammer are you using?
Right now, it's just a small hammer. Because I'm just trying to bend it around. I'm not trying to forge it. Hey, the jackass that made these tongues, man, these aren't terrible. I don't know what size this is. It's the, what does he call it? It's the Brent Bailey all-rounder or something like that. So it's like a pound and a half, pound and 3/4 maybe. But I like using it for bending stuff. I don't like using it for forging. When I'm forging, I switch to my 3.5 pound hammer. Or bigger. I got a 5.5 pound sitting there too. Just really kind of depends on what I'm doing. I don't need that though.
Derek's stuff. Have you ever bought a bicycle online?
Bicycle online. You know, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Joseph Johnson. The junkyard here has piles of bikes.
Too much bend right there. So I don't keep walking off camera. I would normally take this over to the induction forge and heat this right here up and fix this. I'll mess with it later though. But it's close. I mean, imagine my bend here up. Instead of here, it should be up here. But this is essentially all I'm shooting for. And then when this is bent in the right location, you'll still be able to get to that screw hole, which I was originally worried about. That's all I'm really looking for.
Derek's stuff.
It's just a bigger hook to be able to hang
bicycle handlebars.
You know, bunch of stuff. Could you forge bicycle handlebars? I mean, they're usually like tube, right? Like pipe or something. I mean, I suppose you could. I don't know if I could. I mean, I could probably figure it out, but it doesn't sound like something I would want to do. Forging pipe, I mean, you could fill it with sand or something maybe. Keep it from kinking on you when you bend it. Depending on what kind of bend you're looking for, like my handlebars on my BMX bikes were pretty extreme, but mountain bikes are not. I don't remember what a 10-speed, but don't they're like ram horns or something, aren't they? Yeah, I don't know, but it's pipe. I mean, I wouldn't want to do it, but I would think you could. I don't know why you couldn't. I think it would probably be
Derek's stuff. Kinking.
Yeah, I would think it would be a little You'd probably want to keep some sand
Joseph
or something
Johnson.
in it.
Yeah.
You could also form it in like carbon fiber or something. Hell, you probably, this day and age, you just 3D print them. Yeah, forged ones, yeah, I don't know. I would think so, though. Maybe you could get some forged out of titanium or something.
Joseph Johnson. I think they have a protective coating.
So let me turn this off real quick so I can pull any clinker in there out.
Joseph Johnson. Chrome mine had chrome. Derek's stuff. Could you do a wheelie on a wheelchair?
I have no idea. You can do anything if you practice it long enough, I would think, as long as you're, abiding by the laws of physics.
Trail Dust 55. Tubing could be bent cold for that application.
I mean, you could probably do a wheelie in that little welding stool I got, but I ain't gonna try it, not in here. It's a great way to get hurt. When you're over 50, man, getting hurt sucks. Takes a lot longer to heal. When I was 15, I gave no shits. Yeah, I would think if a person spent enough time doing anything that can be, done within the realm of physics.
Derek's stuff.
You can do it.
Do you see opportunity?
Opportunity in what? Doing wheelies? No. I see no opportunity for doing wheelies in wheelchairs or bicycles at this stage of my life. All right. See if I can get any clinker out of this thing. This Coke typically produces a good consolidated clinker that it's fairly simple to remove. Not always, but usually. Now the coal I had, that stuff did not. It would just kind of crumble, which could be a good thing too, and then you can just break it up and keep on trucking, but
Derek's stuff.
I prefer
Opportunity
this.
for content.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'll tell you, I appreciate that people would want to
Best
check
view
things
ERs
out.
on streambo.com. Remove the space at Jazda.
Yeah, I ain't doing that either. As far as content goes, yeah, this will never pay my bills, and I'm okay with that. I do this mostly, to be honest, mostly for me. I'll go back and watch stuff and try to see where I'm messing up, and that helps quite a bit. But then I thought, no, it'd be fun to just stream it. It's like having people in the shop with you. So as far as like the Alex Steele wackadoo content, hey, I get it. He's trying to make a living at this. I am not. So I have zero interest in that whatsoever. I don't even watch his content that he does when he does that. I don't, Some people might be interested in a Damascus socket and ratchet set or a Zippo lighter. I am not. I have zero interest in that. I'm more interested in forging. More interested in forge to finish type work. So I'm not saying that I won't break out an electric welder in here and do something. I'm saying I won't use a power tool on things. That's not it. But when I have an opportunity to forge something from start to finish by hand, I typically prefer that. I'll use my power hammer to help out, but I will almost always take it to a hand hammering situation after the fact to clean it up and remove some of that stuff and clean up the things that, that you can't, not that you can't do it on a power hammer, but it's more difficult on a power hammer. Some of those things, like you can't do, you can, I don't want to say you can't do. A lot of those things you can't do under a press without very specialized tooling or being exceptionally stupid because it's extremely dangerous. You can, more leeway on a power hammer, but again, it gets sketchy. So what you as a human being swinging a hammer, your advantage over those machines is if you tilt a piece, you can tilt your hammer to match that piece. You can't do that over there. In fact, if you try to do that on the press, it's a good way to send a billet or a top tool flying at your head. Not optimal. And that is not hyperbole. I've seen it happen right here in this shop. We won't talk about who did that, Ed, but it has happened. The power hammers, probably not. It'll hurt you. I doubt it would kill you. I mean, unless it really clipped your head right between the eyes, kind of a thing. But it'll hurt you. But you don't have as much room under the hammer with a tire hammer to really be able to pull that off anyways. My 250-pound power hammer, on the other hand, does have that kind of room, and that machine will kill you. In fact, my buddy Kurt Fehrenbach, who's been running these things for 50 years professionally, he likes to say that they're trying to kill you. They are just looking for an opportunity. But yeah, for me, forging, this is a hobby that I enjoy, so I prefer to forge by hand when I can. There's a big reason I don't try to sell this stuff. One, I don't necessarily feel I'm good enough, but two, it would make me do things in ways that takes the joy out of forging. And this is kind of where I respect Roy's opinion on the induction forge, right? The sterile nature of an induction forge and the way it works, it just kind of takes the fantasy out of it for him, and I get that. Whereas for me, that's not the aspect of forging that I care about. The ambiance is not what I care about. It's the practice that enthralls me. Massive changes in cross-section with a hand hammer is something that gives me a lot of joy. I don't know why. I can't explain it. But making a pair of tongs, I don't mind making a pair of tongs by hand or with a power hammer. Making pairs of tongs by hand or with power hammer, that doesn't interest me. I've done factory work before.
I think you are very talented. Be yourself and show your talent. Life is a long lesson in humility.
Oh yeah, I know this, but I don't have the years in this that I have in playing guitar in a band, in a rock and roll band, right? I mean, I jumped into that at an age where I didn't care. I mean, I still don't care what people think, but I didn't care because I didn't know better. I didn't know that that you weren't supposed to not suck when you get on stage and play. So, I mean, I'm no Yngwie Malmsteen by any stretch of the imagination, but I have no fear when I get on stage, zero. I love it up there. But, like I said, I'm no Yngwie. But that was years of development, and years of blindly jumping up on there and not having a clue. I didn't get into this until 6 years ago or so, and it's not that I think I suck. I just don't think I am talented enough to make a living at this, and I say that because I know how much money I make per year, and it ain't going to happen doing blacksmithing. And I ain't trying to toot my own horn, but I've been in IT since I was 19 years old, 18 years old. I am 50, so let that sink in for a minute. I know how to do a thing or two with a computer, and the paycheck shows. This will never, forging, unless you get in front of a very lucrative group of, like opportunities, and those don't really exist in Indiana.
Derek's stuff.
You're not gonna
Life
make.
is a long lesson in humility.
Yeah, you already said that. It's kind of weird. The but I will never make doing. I couldn't even. I don't think I could even make half of my current salary as a professional blacksmith. I don't. Not unless I were able to get a lot of architectural work in front of me, which is not the type of stuff I do anyways. So like selling tongs, trying to keep up with the market on tongs and $40 tongs, $40 to $75 tongs. That's a lot of tongs I'm gonna have to make in 1 year to even come close. It's just not something I'm interested in. More power to those that are. I think some of the younger folks that I've talked to are smart enough now to understand that this is not something that they're going to make a bank, make serious bankroll at, but it's something that can subsidize other trades with. So we know a young man that has a strong desire to be a machinist and learn CNC machining and manual machining, and he's a pretty adequate blacksmith as well. And so if he were to combine those things, I think he could really do well for himself. I've watched a video, I've talked about this on here before. I watched a video of a machinist take I don't know, let's say a 400-pound piece of material, and he whittled it down to 42 pounds or something like that, and was very proud of himself. And I thought to myself, man, what a waste. That part must cost a fortune, because it was like decent steel. And anyways, you could have taken about, 20% of that material and forged it out and still had room to machine it from there to exact dimensions, and probably a third, not even a third, a tenth of the waste. You could have made almost 4 of those parts out of that one piece that they whittled away. It was crazy. It was crazy. Anyways, I'm going to, you know what? I know what I'm going to do. Let me switch the cameras. I've got these bottle opening blanks that have been plasma cut, I think. They're probably laser cut. Maybe plasma cut. It doesn't matter. Derek Melton gave this to me last year or 2 years ago. That you can see in my shop, they were taped together. So in my shop, that does not take long. That was the covered side. So yeah, this one was in the middle. I know that because it's shiny on both sides. But anything that wasn't protected, insta-rust, essentially. He was making ice pick bottle openers. So we made some over in Louisiana as a joke. And then I thought to myself, why can't you make like was it a knifey thing out of these? But then I realized it's just mild steel. So then, I didn't bring it over here. I got a railroad spike that somebody left in my box. We won't mention any names. But I don't typically forge railroad spikes. There's no joy in them for me. I don't know. I mean, to each their own. I don't care for it. I guess if you have the tongs that will hold them, it's fine. I just don't see the appeal, So I'm going to go over here and grab a piece of material, and I'm going to do something I haven't done in a little bit. Oh, here we go, piece of round.
Derek's stuff. Seriously, life is a long lesson in humility.
Okay. So, I don't. This is something I got from Kevin.
Trail Dust 55. I've never forged a railroad spike, even though I have half a bucket of them. Derek's stuff. Anyone watching this say hello.
So this is a piece of material I got from Trail Dust, Kevin, who's never forged a railroad spike.
BC 65925 Bill Corey. I'm not watching, but hello.
I can't say that, to be honest. I can't say that I've never forged a railroad spike, but at this point, less than 20, I can confidently say, but more than 5, somewhere in there. I've made tongs out of a pair of railroad spikes once. I've done this. I've butchered. Starting out, I've butchered many a steak flipper and knife. What else? That's really about it. A fork. Get a fork. I just don't. I don't see the appeal of the railroad spike. I just don't. I mean, I know it's
Ken
a
Foster.
fairly easy
I like to
piece
take
of material
railroad
to get a hold
spikes
of.
and make steak turners or barbecue forks. BC 65925 Bill Corey. I've never forged a RR spike, but I once stayed at a Holiday Inn Express.
Good to know. Good to know. I'm not going to use this piece. I'm going to go find another piece. I'm not going to use it because I don't feel like dealing with this burr on the end of this thing. And I know I've got more over here, so I don't know if I have exactly that size, but I got more crap I can work on. Ooh. What's this? There's plenty of half-inch here. Oh, that's plenty long. Doing that little pad for the hook, and I was like, man, and I've seen a video the other day, not a video, I've seen a post on Facebook the other day of a person doing this, so I thought, man, it's been a hot minute since I've done that.
Derek's stuff. Did you do a wheelie at the Holiday Inn Express? Ken Foster. I'd like to try and take 2 railroad spikes and make a nutcracker with them.
I mean, if you throw it at their nuts hard enough, I'm sure one will crack it. All this stuff right in the way is my fuel.
Paul A. Kennedy. I don't believe you, Bill. You always just use your camper.
Well, this is true. He's got a point. Okay. Let me get my piece in there.
Derek's stuff. Do a wheelie.
Get my piece in there, get her hot. And I'm just going to forge your typical leaf-shaped object. But I'm not, normally I had gotten into the flooring them, but I watched or saw a post from somebody, and they did not, they were just forging it. So, I think I'll try it. Got a new camper a couple of weeks ago. Heck yeah. Hey, Bill. Do you need a camper, buddy? But yeah, he did a forged leaf or whatever.
BC 65925 Bill Corey. LSO.
give it a try. And it gives me an opportunity to swing a bigger hammer. Do I start with this? I don't know. I'm gonna use my 5.5 pounder for this. It's just 1/2 inch square stock, by the way. We're getting her hot. We're getting her hot. My candelabra, forged by Jim Hoffman, actually makes a pretty decent cigar holder
Derek's
too, by the way.
stuff.
Anybody was wondering.
I think I'm the only one here.
You were not the only one there.
Restream.io. Congratulations. You've received 100 messages today with Restream chat.
We got 16 viewers right now. A lot of people just watch. They don't want to comment. Some people watch on their phone, so it's hard to comment on your phone and watch. I get it. I do it too. I'm gonna get this hot. We're gonna get this bad boy going. Oh, you can't see. You can't see what I'm doing. Boom. Here we go. Here we go. I have a hidden agenda here. No, it's just not
Derek's
just
stuff. Does your anvil know that you're mad at it?
It's not. Those aren't the greatest shoulders. Let me get this hot. Well, let me straighten this. Hidden agenda here. Does my anvil know that I'm mad at it? My anvil likes taking
Paul
a
A.
good beat.
Kennedy. Bill, so that means I will have a new spot to sleep in for the fair? Jeff Killian. I have been trying not to step on the 12-year-old.
All right, if you step on the 12-year-old enough times, it will eventually move.
Jeff Killian. Have a great night.
Take it easy. All right, so I started over here. Well, I finished the taper. Then I brought this over here, brought this down. I'm gonna bring this over about there. And I'm gonna set these shoulders. These aren't be as accurate as you want with these. I don't think they're nearly as...
BC65925 Bill Corey. Hello, is there anybody out there? Just nod if you can hear my Is there anyone home?
All right, secret agenda time. Drawing that out over the edge, right? Look what that does in the middle. So I've had people say, "Oh, you're banging flat."
BC65925 Bill Corey. Yup, whole new table.
Bring this down. Boom, boom, boom. Come over here. Boom. You know, boom, boom, boom. Look what happens in the middle. So you've got a taper going this way and this way. So when you forge it, people say I'm banging flats.
Trail Dust 55.
You've got a peak here.
I'll ask and see if there is anyone at my house.
Anyways, there's that. Let me just take that down. Already across the anvil. I don't think I need this monster anymore. That just makes it... I actually like using that for the set downs.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
We listened to that album on the way home, Bill. Coming back from Louisiana, that we rocked that out. All right. So I want to finish drawing this out. What do I hear? Oh.
Derek's stuff. Seriously, how much? BC 65925 Bill Corey. I knew you'd catch it, just like I knew you'd catch my Alice Cooper post the other day.
I feel like I was the only one that caught that. I was eating induction forge, this would already be hot. Kidding. It would. Right.
Paul A. Kennedy. I just don't want to keep typing and interrupting your explanations.
Type away, type away. Do that down here. I'm trying to correct this. The
Derek's
shoulders
stuff.
just a little off.
Does Alice Cooper do wheelies?
Did I catch it? I think I caught it. Just got it. It's a lot better. Trying to square that corner, those shoulders up a little bit. Does Alice Cooper do wheelies? I'm sure he did at one point in time. Maybe he does them on his golf cart. One might say you have an unhealthy obsession with wheelies. I'm not saying that. I'm saying one would. All right. Probably cut enough on that for right now. I'm going to catch up the rest. Get this out of the way. Can I? I cannot. But now I'm gonna go to sleep and I'm gonna have dreams of doing wheelies with Alice Cooper. It's gonna be awesome. Come on now, get in there. Get in there. You wackadoo. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Did you see that? Did you see it? Were you paying attention to that? That right there was a fun example of how to break a piece down.
Paul A. Kennedy. I seen it.
You seen it? Hell yeah, you did. So I got it hot because I got a twist, right? So it's a lot easier to fix these twists when it's hot. Right. So what I did, for those that didn't see it, if you pay attention, from about here to about here to here, that's all the same size now. And I'm going to continue that all the way down to the other shoulder. Don't need to. You don't have to do that. This is me goofing off. And I was keeping it hot in the process. So we're going to come up here. Boom. So it's twisting on me. I don't care. I'm going to chew it up. It's going to do what I want. Now I'm going to get a little heat and start rolling this up a little bit. I'm not going to mess with the back end too much because there's a lot more work I want to do there. But I want to roll this up from here on out. So we're going to take these diagonals off. There we go. Yeah, keep an eye on this. If there's a time that you're going to burn it off, this is about when I'll do it. But the person I saw, the leaf I saw, wasn't a great leaf. I mean, that person clearly needs more work, practice, experience, whatever. But it's a style I haven't really spent a lot of time. I think I did one a while back. I don't remember when now. But here's the problem with the Coke. This was straight when it went in. But you can. If you don't want to just go smash happy on this, try to control where you're directing the material. Right? So if it's off one way or the other, you can try to pull it around a little bit. Because if you start to smash it, it's just going one, to the left or to the right, one way or the other. Well, it's not going to come out very even. It's probably not going to come out very even. Like I said, it's been a minute, but I'm trying to pay attention to it. I'm not getting it super hot, simply because I don't need to, and it's a little easier to see what I'm doing. So now I'm going to try to pull this out from the center. So I'm just focusing these hits as best I can right here in the center. My hammer's got a slight tilt to it. You could also do it like this. You could use a cross peen. So it's dished out a little bit there. Now I'm going to start to spread that along the edges a little bit more. And then from there, I'm going to try to control that, what do they call that, a medial ridge, whatever, the ridge going down the center to make it like it's got a vein going down the center. And for me, these are fun to do because it's all about hammer control. And, you know, anytime I can get practice with that, I'm all about it. You know, so all I'm doing is coming over, reaching over the leaf right now. And it takes a while to, I mean, you could do it more quickly, I suppose, but I like to develop that. So it's going to look more mountainous when I first start this off. But it's getting there. Every once in a while, just give this a little love tap. Don't go crazy on this, by the way. You can break this off. And if you want to use a cross peen for this, there's nothing wrong with that. I like to practice with both, actually. I think a cross peen, depending on the style of cross peen, you can get yourself, you know what, I'll just do that. This one's a bigger one. So it's a big, wide cross peen. So I'll use that. So let's. Hey, any of you watching that Daredevil show? Looks like the Punisher just killed Dumbledore. Man, it's crazy. And as you can see, that's slowly developing. I don't want to go too far, too fast with that. And if you use a smaller cross peen, you can really get it. I don't know if I have one of those handy. Let me. I do actually have a smaller cross peen handy. Look at that. This one was made by Jonathan Pinkston. All right. So let's get a lot more definition to it. It's also getting a lot thinner, so I'm not going to put this in there and leave it unattended. Corbin.
Paul A. Kennedy. Looking pretty clean.
Well, you can do that with this technique, just using the rounding hammer. It takes practice, but it can be done. But, I mean, if you've got the tools, use them, man. There's that. I'm gonna get this a little hot. I'm gonna clean it up with my rounding hammer. Once I realize where I put it, oh, there it is. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit with the rounding hammer. Not getting it super hot. The first thing I want to do while it's hot is just kind of come in here and straighten this up a little bit. And again, you know, if you just learn to tilt your hammer the right way, you can get in there. Hey. You can get in there. Okay, now I need to do that on the other side, but I want some heat for that. I could have shared, but at the end of the day, I would have been doing the same thing, just split differently. A little heat in there. Doing the same thing on this side, right? So just kind of, and all I'm doing is I'm pulling the lobe out a little bit more. At the same time, I'm pushing that ridge over a little bit more. So up here, that's not bad. It's not perfect, but good enough for this crowd. I'm happy with it. Now, I'm going to do Derek's Stuff's favorite thing. I'm going to go beat on this off screen because I'm not rolling that stump over here. Let me take my hammer with me. I'm just going to go dish this leaf out a little bit. But I want a good heat for this without burning it off. Without burning it off. And then when I get done, I'll swing back over and show you what and I did. Make sure I have it the right side down. Yes. All right. And I will come show you.
BC 65925 Bill Corey. Looking pretty nice, about time for it to break off just behind the leaf.
Right? So, I put a little bit of dishing in there. And then I'm going to get this tip hot. I'm going to push it back out. This is where I burn the tip off, Bill. So I just got that tip hot, and I'm just going to knock it over a little bit. I don't want too much being done here. That's good enough. It's good enough.
Paul A. Kennedy. Don't curse him like that, Bill.
Now, let's burn the other end off. So here's a great example of here's a teaching moment. I very well could burn this off because as I put my piece in the fire, it is not level with the fire. The fire is dished out a bit. So what I need to do is add fuel to this and bring my fire up to an appropriate level so I do not burn this off. Because otherwise I would be diving into the oxygenation zone of the fire. The oxygen is really what burns your piece off. It's not so much the fire. The heat. That's what I meant. The heat. But it's the oxygen that's actually doing the damage. So now that this has cooled off a little bit, it's a little easier to just jam into the Coke. If that was still hot and I tried to jam it in the Coke, it just turned into a needle, a piece of pasta on me. Yeah, Bill, don't curse me like that.
BC 65925 Bill Corey. Who says that all the time?
right. So I'm going to take this down a little bit more. Get this hot, keep on moving on down. Actually, at this point, it's probably a good idea to think about supporting that end and just working it down from that side. And again, this fire is hot at this point, so I gotta be careful and keep an eye on it, Rob. And don't go crazy. If you hold straight, you'll forge straight. Clearly, I am not doing that. And we're just cleaning up the rest of it as we go.
Well, I'm off. See you tomorrow and see you Saturday, Bill.
Yep. Adios. I'm about done myself. Time is it? 10:30.
BC 65925 Bill Corey. Indeed.
So I got a taper, which I want, but I need to catch this side up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this over here, like I was doing earlier. It's like 3/4 on the anvil, 1/4 off, and that's what happens is it uses this backside material almost like a kiss block. So it won't let that go down any further. I mean, it can, but you got to put a lot of power in there. So what I'll do is I'll start chopping this up, bringing it down. Slowly but surely, I will get down there safely and get that down. I could work from the other end, we'll see, and then work forward. It ultimately doesn't matter. The trick is not to try to do all of this right out of the gate. It will break off on you almost certainly, especially this length. But I've been struggling to keep this end hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start on this end. Now I'm going to chop it up. See it lighten up? It means it's putting a lot of pressure in that one spot. And I don't care if it's chewed up right now. It's all going to get... I do care that it's somewhat straight, though. Just because it's a lot easier to put it in the fire when it's straight. And I might, we'll see. I might just put a bend in that and then just heat where it's bent, heat that up and then just straighten it out when I come out. We'll see. Just because it's bending every time I put it in there. But at this heat, or at this dimension, I don't need it crazy hot. So what I'm going to do is round this up, so I'm done with this part right here, for the most part. Just going to round it up real quick. And I'm just going to keep going. It's going to be a keychain, I hope. So there should be enough material here to pull that off. Make it all decorative and stuff. Right. So same thing. I'm just going to come in here and chop this up. I'll go a little slower so you can see it. So when I said I was going to bend it, right, I'm thinking right in there. So when I put this in the fire, that's a little more protected. And if I burn it off right there, I still got plenty of material. So I'm going to bring this over, straighten it back out a little bit. Now I'm going to start taking these diagonals off right here, because this is part I'm going to round up. And I got a little sometimes just doing this, not throwing your hammer down, but sometimes just doing that, drawing that out like that, can be a lot of fun. See how far you can take it. Just be cognizant of your material, how hot it is, and how supported it is, right? I mean, that's the big thing. You want to keep it supported. That started from about that much material. Inch and a half, 2 inches maybe. Not a lot, let's say that. And I just come back and roll it up. This is still square, so almost there. And again, when you get down this thing, don't leave it in your fire unattended. You should never do that anyways, but when it's this thin, you definitely don't leave it unattended. You will burn it off. It's inevitable. I've seen it happen even in gas forges. Guess what? Chucklehead did that. So I typically, on a leaf-shaped object, I don't worry about cleaning this up too much, or because it's, quote unquote organic. But on this end down here, where I'm going to try to scroll it up a little bit, I really want this end fairly clean and fairly even taper all the way down. because it will kink on you right where those transition spots happen. Now, what I need to do, I'm just kind of cleaning this up. I'm going to take this corner down a little bit more. I want this below everything else. But I don't want to burn it off. It's like that is more hops than I wanted. It's getting unruly. It does not take, at this point I'm pretty sure I could heat this up with my cigarette lighter. So I'm just gonna go through here, take these edges off. Nice thing is though, is it at this dimension, it doesn't take much. See how much action is going on down there? Well, it's probably so long it's out of frame. All right, so rope right off. That's not necessarily how I would want to do that typically. But it's just kind of showing you all that movement, you know. I was able to support it, but it only took one good smack across the anvil, unsupported, and it snapped right off. But, I mean, where it snapped off, like, I got plenty of material. I did that on purpose. Trust me. Trust me. Did that on purpose. So things you can do, if you want to do, is roll this up. And it doesn't, at this point, doesn't really matter where we start this roll. Does matter if there's a little heat there though. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, apparently this new Daredevil show is out, and people are freaking out because the Punisher killed Dumbledore. And I thought it was Snape. So, just putting a little pigtail on the end of that, I guess, if you want to call it that. And then we can bend it up and do the things with it that we always wanted to do. Actually, no. I'm going to put this up here to get hot. But I'm going to turn the fire off so it doesn't burn it. I'm going to put my little bendy jig up here. And this is a device that you cannot see because I'm holding out on you guys. I think this will be enough. I think it will. Oh, but I'm gonna need another pair of tongs, aren't I? Put that down in there. Let it get nice and toasty while I go get another pair of tongs. These scrolling tongs probably be fine. Loosen them up a bit. Bring this over here. Pull on this guy. This is not, I'm coiling it up a little bit on a smaller coil than I plan to take it to. And then I've got a 1-inch drift that I'll use to open it up fully to where I want it. I don't know, I find that a little easier. You do whatever the hell you want. But I wish it was a little closer to the size, but a little undersized ain't gonna hurt nobody. So, get it nice and toasty. Where in the hell those tongs go? Oh, there they are. Bring it back over here. Put it back on this thing. And then continue to wrappy. And just gotta apply some tension as you go around. And I'm going to squeeze it together. There we go. Like I said, the current coil of this is not the final dimension. I don't even know why I'm coiling it up like this, to be honest. I just thought it'd be kind of neat. Thought it would be kind of neat. Be a lot easier if it would cooperate. So, yeah, gonna need a little more heat for that. That's where that's at. I mean, and you could just come over here and give it a little hit, close it up. I ain't there yet, though. I'll just heat this up. Probably can just do this cold at this point. Cold, quote unquote. Yeah. Once I put this on the doodad, on my doodad, just kind of hammer it around. Really, at this heat, it should be fine. But the problem is, I didn't bring a hammer, so I'm tapping it with a big hammer eye drift. And it's not really going anywhere, which is fine. Okay. It did finally go. It did finally go. I'm eventually going to twist that curlicue out. I'll show you. Well, I'll show you now. So it's currently in line. I'm going to twist it out. And once again, this is one of those things that the induction forge would be really good at. Because you won't really have to worry about burning it. So I'm gonna go get my big 1-inch drift. Oh, that's actually over here. So it's a tapered drift, so it goes from like, I don't know, 1/2 inch ball fuller up to a 1-inch. Actually, I think it's bigger than 1 inch. What's nice about it is you could just come over here, and as long as you got a little support there, do that on the other side. You can eventually. I've got a dial hole that would actually help with this significantly, but we can get there. And we'll just true that hole up as we go and open it up. Now we'll catch the other side. Do I? I don't have my dial hole out. So no, the answer is no, I do not. So now, do the same thing. I'm just coming from the other side now. And support it. Go to the other corner, support it. Opposing corners and just support it as we go. A dial hole, or a hole that matches what you're trying to get to as you're going is a much better approach for this, because it's going to support it the whole way through versus having to do what I'm doing. But we can get there with this. And I'm just going to make sure this is still closed up. Get it hot. I'm going to hit that from the other side to just true it up a little bit. So we know this side. Well, I really would like to find that hole. Actually, it should be this side first. Yeah. That's pretty much all. I'm gonna figure out how I want to shape this, but I'm not gonna do that right now. But I really think I'm just gonna curl it up a little bit and then reorient the direction of the leaf just by kind of twisting it 90 degrees. go. Really, all there was to it. And it could have been, but had I had my dial-a-hole out and it's got the individual holes, I'd have just taken that straight to like a 7/8 hole first, boom, boom, and I don't have to do all that moving around crap. 7/8 hole, boom, boom, get it hot again, take it to the 1 inch, boom, boom, done. That's not even 1 inch, but you know what I'm saying. So anyways, I see a giant clinker in here. I see a giant clinker and I do not see my poker. There it is. There it is. So I'm gonna dig that clinker out. What time is it? Oh man, it's 11 o'clock already. All right, so I'm gonna dig this fire out. How about that? I'm gonna dig this fire out and call it a night. I'm gonna switch over to this. And the leaf, here, I'll quench it off because I want to do more to it later. So I don't mind quenching it off right now. So the leaf, right here now. Oh, I'll come over here. It ain't the greatest leaf by any stretch, but you can see the ridge coming in. It's not straight, but like I said, I hadn't done one of these in a minute. And then I got the keychain end. I need to open this up. I need to get a little hotter, and not so much open it, but close these down a little bit maybe, and just make them all the same. And then I need to turn this 90, and then probably roll it up a little bit too, make it a little bit shorter. We'll see. I may not ever do anything like this, but that's just fun. It's practice, hammer control practice, stock control practice, I guess if you could say. Just things to work on. I'm not great at it. And it's one of those things, the more you do, the better you get, I used to really suck at it. Now I'm better than some and worse than most. So with that being said, I got 5 minutes to 11. Talk about a couple things coming up that I know about. The Indiana Blacksmithing Association is doing their business meeting this weekend, Saturday. You can go to our website and find updated times, location, and all that goodness if you are interested in participating. Open to members, I believe. It might be open to public too, I don't know, but definitely open to members. If you're interested in seeing how things kind of go in one of those meetings, it's not nearly that is very exciting to be honest, but it is what it is. And then after that, I think the next big thing is Ben Snurr is going to be teaching, doing a tong intensive class. So it's 2 day, you can do 1 day tong or 2 day tongs, or, if you're going to do it, might as well just do 2 days, in my opinion. But Ben will be teaching over at the Cole School of Iron, attached to Cole Iron Works, and that is on that. This would be the last weekend of March, somewhere in the. Go to their website and look, because I don't know those dates. To coincide with that, there is also a hammer-in at the Warriors Way. Oh, that reminds me. Because of the Ben Snurr tong class, there will not be a hammer-in at the Cole School of Iron. It will be occupied for the purposes of the class. So don't go down there thinking that you're going to forge without joining the class. There will also be a gathering of folk over at Warriors Way in Lima, Ohio. Lima, I don't know how they say it. That will be the same weekend. Paul Kennedy and myself, I believe, are planning to be there. And that's a good thing to be a part of. They do a lot of work to help first responders and all that goodness. So you'd be surprised what a first responder has to put up with and go through in their lives as a first responder. They see some shit, and sometimes they need a little assistance dealing with that. And that's, I believe, part of what the Warriors Way, part of what they do is to help those folks get through things like that. I'm sure I'm butchering all that, but just know that it's a good cause, and Paul and myself will be down there. And you want to do some forging, hand forging, strike with a striker, we will be down there. More than happy to assist with that. What else? My Hammer In will be in May 17th. All are welcome, even non-members. We do a lot during the day. Charlie Ellis from the Cole School of Iron and other places will be here to demonstrate. I do not know what he is planning to demonstrate at this point. I've given him free rein. He might come out here and blow your minds. Forging chopsticks. He might come out here and blow your minds forging a knife. I do not know. But I know that whatever he does, it's going to look great, because that's Charlie. And I think a lot of the IBA folk could stand to meet Charlie. And I think, honestly, I think he could stand to meet some of y'all. So I think it's going to be a win-win for everybody.
BC 65925 Bill Corey. Good time at Billy Creek Village in April.
Oh, yeah. So there's the Billy Creek Village in April. Again, you'll have to check the website on the dates and locations. I can't. There's limited space up here, guys, and I ran out of room about 20 years ago. So anything that I'm responding to now that seems like I have memorized it, I have kicked some other memory out of the system. But yeah, Charlie will be doing a demonstration here. And then I think after May, we've got the June IBA conference. Was the first
BC
weekend of June.
65925 Bill Corey.
Third
Saturdays.
So we'll be doing that. And then there is a strong possibility at this point that Rob will be going to Can Iron this year. We'll see how that pans out. I've got the bug to go, so might go to that. It's a few weeks before Quad State. So that will be a thing. The only problem with that thing, Bill, Can Iron happens like right in the middle of the state fair. So you might have to cope without me for 3 to 4 days during the fair. Whatever will you do?
BC 65925 Bill Corey. I was wondering about BAM.
I forget when that is. But that would be another one I'd like to go to. But it depends, right? I mean, I hear good stories about certain things, and then I hear the Llama conference we did not go to, and I'm not entirely upset that we didn't, only because it rained, I guess, quite a bit, and I wasn't really interested in walking around in the rain all day. And then I would have had to leave all my buddies because, that's what it is. But Yeah, band would be cool. Really, one of the things I want to do is kind of come up with some game plans for some of these and plans of attacks for some of these things. Like, so, okay, we're going, but what are we going to do? Because I don't even know who the demonstrators are. Sometimes demonstrators are I'm all for watching. I'd rather forge, to be quite honest. Like, I want to see what you're doing, and then be like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go do that. I don't need to watch you do that for the next 8 hours. You just show me 2 hours of that, and I'll be golden. You know, I get it.
BC
Some people are really into that.
65925 Bill
I'm
Corey. May 1st
May
4,
1st,
2025.
okay. That one is more of a possibility. There's a class coming up in Goshen, Ohio that I'd like to attend, or at least come hang out for. But it happens right on the weekend of my daughter's birthday, so that one's probably not going to happen. But outside of that, there's some stuff I'd like to do. But like when we go to these events, I'd like to have things we can work on, things we can do that involve people. For me, these are opportunities to get people to forge outside of their comfort zone. And that's kind of really one of the things I like to do is like to push and get people out of their comfort zones and get them to do something, you know, that they may not normally do. Because I think in a lot of cases outside of the second person swinging a sledgehammer for them, I think they'll find it's not nearly as difficult as they've had it in their heads to be. I've worked with a complete beginner. And yes, we had to do a lot of things for that person, but also that person was able to do a lot of the things in ways that I've seen other guys that have been forging for a long time not do, because they had no preconceived notions. They didn't have any ego coming into it. They knew what they didn't know, which was everything. They didn't know anything, right? So they just listened and did the thing.
BC
And made a great hammer.
65925 Bill Corey. Thomas Lawtane, Mark Green, Richard Furler.
So yeah, seeing Thomas Latney do some stuff would be really cool. I'm not sure I'm familiar with the other two guys. And then who? I don't remember seeing who's at SOFA this year. Maybe they haven't announced that yet. Maybe that's why. But anyways, would like to get a gathering, game plan put together, so that when we go, I want to have fun, but I also want to say, hey, this is one of the things we're gonna do. You know, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and then be prepped and ready to do it. And those things might not include anybody else but our
BC
little group.
65925 Bill Corey. I'm more of a I can forge at home. I want to watch the demos.
Yeah, I can forge at home too. Thing is like I can't do the books either. I'll start digging through a book, and then like within 20 minutes of the book, I'm already back out here trying to do that thing. You know, it's like, man, I just need the Sports Illustrated version of these books. Just give me the pictures, man. I don't need a 10-year backstory on it. Those are cool, don't get me wrong, but I need like I need the condensed version with pictures. Just show me pictures, and I'm going to go out there and butcher it. But same with like a demo, though. When I see a demo, I personally believe that if you're doing a demonstration, I think it's a great benefit to the entire community for you to keep your demonstration relatively short and sweet as best you can, and then spend time helping people do that so they can learn how to actually do it. Like we do at the meeting when you did those hinges at Bob Hunley's a few years back. Several guys got up and tried that, And what's is funny, I never really had any interest in making a hinge. Now I kind of want to make some hinges, so I'm going to have to corner you at the fair and make you, go through that again, and I'll have to pay attention. But I think those kinds of things where it's like you could do it and then turn people loose on it, and the demonstrator be around to help out a little bit. That's the one thing I've noticed in some of these demos is like they'll do their demonstration and they are gone with the wind. You can't. Good luck finding them after that. I get it. In some cases, they got somewhere else to be. In other cases, I don't get it. It's almost like, you know what? I don't want anything to do with these people. I'm out of here. But that's just me. I'm not an overly. I'm a doer. I want to do the things. So I see it. I want to do it. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. Go inside and watch some of that 1923 stuff that has gotten really weird. I'm on season 2 and it's gotten really, really weird. Like, there are things in that show that I'm just like, I mean, hey, I don't mind looking at what I'm seeing, but at the same time, I'm not sure how this progresses this story in any way, shape, or form. But I'll watch it. That young lady has a very fine buttocks. I think maybe that guy that writes those stories has got a little thing. I don't know. Could be. Anyways.
BC 65925 Bill Corey. Been wanting to go over to Goshen to do hinges, handles, and hasps.
That would be cool, honestly. I talked to Jamie just the other day, and he had mentioned you. And I said, as long as it's not like July or August, you might stand a chance. But if it's July or August, I suspect he's going to tell you to take a hike. Late July and early August. You might be okay towards the end of August. I don't know. But anyways, Jamie did bring it up. He's also talked about some other things with Paul and I, kind of maybe doing some kind of assisted forging fun class type thing where, we've got some strikers available to help out. So we'll see. I'm going to talk to Paul about some of that tomorrow. Meanwhile, like I said, it's 10 minutes past 11, so I try to keep these, says the guy that ran 5 hours last time. I'm going to try to keep these a little shorter, 8 to 11-ish. So I'm going to call it a night. I hope everybody has a good night. Thanks for hanging out. I don't know what happened to Wheelie Guy, Derek's stuff. You still around, Derek's stuff?